Why, hello everyone, and welcome to the stream. This is Otaku Showboat. Today is Thursday, September 8th, 2022. Not too much to say before getting into the game today, so we're just gonna go into the game today. I think we're just gonna start because I've done only a few things to talk about. I want to talk about the path forward. Hello, good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are. We need to have a little bit of a discussion about next steps. Last time we met, what happened? What happened when we last met? Well, I set up chemical tech cards. That was what we did last time. We made all of these factories together. We did all of this. And I think this too with energy crystals. The mysterious energy crystals. Of course, I had not finished placing all 150 crystal growers at the time. I did that between streams. I finished placing the crystal growers between streams. So now we actually have like however many 15 per second I think net out on the mysterious crystals, which is fantastic. It's nice. They're actually pretty cheap, all things considered. It's oil. It's essentially just oil to crystals with this arrangement. Now, I have quartz. I have electronic components. I have red circuits, which when we built the red circuits last time, I did make a mistake that no one actively pointed out at the time during the stream. It was pointed out that I hadn't built the full set of 10 of the copper wires, but what wasn't pointed out was I sort of put a shared belt between the wires and the green circuits when I needed a full red belt of each down the single line. So I only had half the throughput that I needed. I have since fixed this issue. I have fixed it, so I now get the full 15 per second out of this red line. Spoilers, minor spoilers, but in order to get into blue circuits, I'm going to need to double this. To get into the blue circuits, I'm gonna want to at least double this, because blue circuits processing units, they need a lot of red circuits to make each one. Now, that is definitely a candidate for as much productivity as I can possibly throw at it. It's just we need to get there first, because I most ideally I would like to have the most powerful productivity modules that I can have available at that time, or around that time, which is definitely more than Productivity 1 modules. In fact, Productivity 1 modules are just not worth it in general. To be completely honest, they're not really worth spending the time going and redoing a lot of your factories just to add the, like, what, 2%, 4%, whatever, 4% per module. It's not actually worth it. You use a lot more power, you put a lot more entities down, and it doesn't ultimately save all that much material. It really only adds up on the more complex items that have multiple steps that take productivity. But at this point, I mean, only really reds are worth it. And then, of course, I can't really do the full chain at the moment because I don't have the ability to make the modules that add productivity to the ore processing arrays, because these 248K buildings, these require a different module type entirely, a Stokes module. It's pink to add productivity to the 248K buildings. And to do that, I'm going to need a thing that I'm going to be making today. We're going to be needing the fiberglass reinforced plastic. In fact, fiberglass reinforced plastic is the next limiting ingredient to further progression outside of, rare metals. We're going to do with the rare metals with Meow. Who's screaming? We've got Ollie. Ollie has announced his presence to me. Ah, boy. So we did all of this. We set up the science, the chemical tech cards last time, as well as the lab array in order to actually process and get those techs. At this point in time, between streams, I have now obtained every available tech that is currently on offer. I do not currently have military science, so I don't have the ability to get any of the military tech, not like it's relevant to me at this point. We have no production tech cards, though granted, production tech cards are actually easier than the utility tech cards to get into initially. I still want to focus towards utility tech cards first so that I can get into the requester chests. I really want the requester chest tech, which means setting up a whole bunch of stuff. And we're gonna have a bit of a talk about all that here in a second. Now, between streams, I have set up, I'll say 2 factories and a few things at the main bus / the mall. I have set up this factory. This factory is electrolysis for producing chlorine and hydrogen. Chlorine and hydrogen electrolysis. Now, I'll note that the way that I've done this, I don't think I'm going to keep, because I really just wanted to note that this is a thing that you can do if you are worried about your consumption. So this converts stone into chlorine and hydrogen. In fact, it's making 1,000 hydrogen and 666.6 repeating chlorine every second. Now, why do I need chlorine and hydrogen? Well, because we're going to be doing, first thing here, rare metals processing from our, it's called rare metals. It's like rare earth metals. I called it on the post I did on Discord, on the main Factorio Discord for this. It's going to require chlorine in order to actually mine the ore, and then at this point in time, I also have access to this enriched process, which will take hydrogen chloride, which we will need to make out of equal amounts of hydrogen and chlorine, just a bit more hydrogen and chlorine. And this improves the overall efficiency of the system. You'll note that I am using productivity modules here because mining rare metals, raw rare metals, has a 300% speed penalty on it. It has a mining time of 300%, so the machines, they don't drill that quickly on these patches, as well as they need chlorine to do the drilling. So having productivity here does save significantly on the number of mining drills. That's a pretty significant number that saves. And once I have fiberglass reinforced plastic, I will be able to make electric furnaces, which can get another 2 on them, and that will save even more on the mining ultimately. See, it cuts it down by another 11 machines that you need. I'll also note that I do have 20% mining productivity currently, and the fiberglass will allow me to do the Mark II mining drills, which will add another module slot for speed. When combined with all the things, it'll ultimately be 78 required mining drills. In order to maintain this throughput, I'll likely need more as time goes on. So for now, we're going to stick with our steel furnaces and the electric mining drills. Tempted, very tempted as always, to just use wood and make it locally on this factory. I should have some, yeah, I should have greenhouses with me. Now, I wanted to come over to this factory at the start where I am making chlorine and hydrogen. Remember, we made hydrogen in order to make fuel. Remember, I'm quite adamant about not really making new stuff the vast majority of the time, but we've technically made this already. We have made this before in order to make fuel for the car. It's just at scale. It's the same thing, just at scale. Now, for this, I am using productivity to save on the stone input. Using productivity on the crushers, as well as using speed on the electrolysis plants, makes it so that it's this nice 2-to-3 ratio, approximately 2-to-3 ratio on each of these buildings. Ollie, would you be quiet? There is no reason to meow like you're all alone. Wherever he is. He really is wanting attention today. So this array has quite a few buildings, 72 electrolysis machines and 48 crushers, Krastorio crushers. I'll also note that I did expand out my power. I expanded the power just a little bit by another 240 steam engines, so the base can support 450 megawatts now. Just as a side note, what I want to talk about here is that I have set this up so that excess chlorine or hydrogen will get voided. I've set it up so that each one will void if I have excess of each of them. However, that would mean that this system would always move at all times and always use power. Key thing being, that also means it will always use 115 stone per second to keep moving. 115 stone per second, always moving, along with the train fuel to fuel the trains that are moving the stone. It would effectively be voiding stone. So, in order to not void stone, we have to turn the entire system off when we are full on both the chlorine and hydrogen. I have done this one specific way here. I don't want to do this in this specific way. There are alternate ways that I'll talk about, and then there's the concept of just void the stone, which is what I'm ultimately going to do. I'm going to keep the system on. Ideally, what you would do is you would separate this system's power through a power switch and turn the power off to the factory when both are full, when both of the storage tanks here are full. The logic for this that I have set up with the separate red-green wires, it doesn't really matter. I could do it with just the red wire, set specifically check for hydrogen and chlorine on each of these decider combinators, checking if they're above a certain value on each of these tanks. So we output A, we output B, and then we check if A and B are true, as in if they have a value. As far as I'm aware, that's how this is done. If they're both 0, it still does not output true. I'm pretty sure with this. If A is 0, A is not transmitted at all, so there is no A to check versus A and B if A is 0 or if B is 0. With this combinator logic, it's not outputting a signal if the signal is 0. Now, if A and B are 1, we will output C, and that's what we're checking on each of these belts. It would be the same logic just applied to the power switch here. It would be the exact same logic just attached to the power switch to determine when to have the power on or off. Just to make it so that everything stays in place. I would say that this is, in fact, the worst way to do it because of a very, very specific behavior with this, in that I am using loaders. If you're using loaders, you have to fill up the internal buffer, and when stack size is 400, it takes a really long time for the internal buffers on every one of these buildings to fill up in order to actually get the full throughput of the system. So it's a really long time to spin up the system. It would be much better to turn the power off completely. So have a power switch right between these two. That would be how to properly do it if you don't want to keep spending the stone, the 115 stone per second. However, the way I've designed my base is such that I am assuming that I have 100% uptime on all of my factories, always. Meaning I absolutely have the production of the 115 per second of the stone, and I don't care if I am voiding the stone, because I have my resource densities set to as high as I possibly can. Meaning it is extremely unlikely I will be running out of stone from mining it out. It's okay that this is going to operate 100% of the time. So I'm just not going to even bother with the logic on here. I just wanted to point out that it is a thing that you can do, that I am actively deciding not to do it. So, all that said and done, rare metals is the goal. At the start here, I already have all these buildings. I'm just going back to the bus just because I need to figure out where I want to build this in particular. Now, I also have expanded my rail network a little bit, just a little bit. Don't know if I'm going to build down here today or if I'm going to build up here. I think I'm going to build up here, use this line to start with, and if I need more, I'll keep going. I should also note that the path to utility tech cards is several steps long. In order to get the utility tech cards, I will need rare metals. I will need reinforced plastic, fiberglass reinforced plastic. I will need K248s or 248K's lithium. This is not the same lithium as Krastorio lithium, which is weird because they're supposed to have compatibility with each other. I don't understand why there are in fact two different lithiums as well as two different dirty waters available in the mod. There's a few things that overlap that are different items but are the same item effectively. So there's Krastorio's lithium out of mineral water that you mine, and then there's this lithium out of stone that you can get. In this case, I'm just going to void the pure aluminium to get into the lithium. It'll just be stone to lithium. I will need hydrofluoric acid. I will have a factory that I set up 1,000 hydrofluoric acid. Yes, this will absolutely mean that I need to go and scale my sulfuric acid. This will also mean that I'll have to sneak in somewhere in here advanced oil processing. That's another factory that we can add onto this. Just change the basic oil processing to advanced oil processing at some point, so that I can improve my output specifically of the petroleum gas needed to make the sulfuric acid. Or, I do have the tech now. There is a better way to get into sulfuric acid through acidic water. I can officially get acidic water in more advanced ways than previously. It will be absolutely glorious getting into the acidic water. Specifically to make the sulfuric acid. We'll be fine. I'll have to figure it out. We'll plan it out and we'll do it somewhere, maybe next stream. I will need to make rich water to make several other things, not just this gold and neodymium, but also titanium. They're all like the same process. They all use this rich water, and I'm going to make it out of this stuff. Out of this stuff here. It does appear to be a closed system on these empty containers, so I just need to make the empty containers, which, wouldn't you know it, needs fiberglass reinforced plastic. From here, we can convert rich water into gold through just assembling machines into pure gold and then casting it. Same with the neodymium, just assembling machine into neodymium. And the same thing with titanium, just casting machine into titanium. I will then need rocket fuel, which after looking at all of the options for rocket fuel, I have decided to make it out of light oil and oxygen. This is going to be the easiest. It's also, with efficiency modules, one of the lowest power draws of all the options. I think this one is the best for power overall, as well as the best on simplicity. The other options are going to require astronomical amounts of atmospheric condensers, and I'm already going to need a lot of nitric acid, therefore ammonia, therefore nitrogen atmospheric condensers. For that whole process, I'm gonna need a lot of condensers for all of that. So the atmospheric condensers that I'm making are gonna be devoted for that, and if I can avoid it for this, I'm gonna avoid it for this as best I can. I did have a look at like the kerosene processes, 248K processes to get into rocket fuel. It's just not as good as this. It's just not as good as this. It can use a bit less crude oil and a bit less iron plates. You can get it with lower inputs. It's more complex to do it that way, and this is frankly the best of both between power draw and complexity, in my opinion. Now, we also need low density structures. I will note that there is an alternate recipe that 248K adds for low density structures right in here. The problem with this recipe that we'll have to decide whether we want to do ultimately by the time we get there is that we will have to go out of our way if we want to do this recipe, in that it requires the nuclear assembling machine, which is going to require a nuclear fuel source. I will prefer the U-235 fuel rods, frankly, like duh, of course I'm going to prefer the U-235 fuel rods, but that means needing a consistent supply of these fuel rods and a way of dealing with the used fuel rods, of which I will note Krastorio is amazing and we can just crush it. We don't have to worry about like recycling these consumed fuel rods or like making plutonium or any of that, like further processing down the line. We don't have to worry about it. I will need these products for other things down the line. So I will want to like store up a bunch of the like consumed fuel rods for now, but the excess will just get voided when I set this up. But as you can see, this is a more efficient process, and it will take eventually productivity modules. Now, of course, we're not at the level for fusion assembling quite yet, this machine is honestly a cheat machine, but it's available at the very end of the game, very 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 late game. Um, it's fantastic. It doesn't use power. It uses 1 watt of energy. It has 4 module slots, and at that point in the game, you get access to this thing called the Gauss module. And when you load this up with the Gauss module, we'll use 25 watts of power, not kilowatts, watts, and we're going to get 100% productivity. And the and speed is capped at -80. So even though these individual modules have speed minus 90%, the game hard limits to -80. Which works in our favor in this particular case. So yeah, we end up with 100% productivity, doubling our goods produced from these buildings that have a crafting speed base of 10, but with -80, it's 2. Like, yeah, this is really nice. And you know what? The production demands require it. The production demands require it, and specifically, these modules can be used on any recipe in the entire game, in any building in the entire game that has module slots that takes productivity. Any building that takes productivity accepts it. Building level, not recipe level. Building level. You can apply this module to everything. Everything. Any of these Gauss modules. It is across the board. So I have to decide if I want to make these fuel rods. Because we're going to have fiberglass, I'll need to decide if we want to make these fuel rods before making low-density structures. Otherwise, we'll do this one, which is less efficient, but I have the stuff for it. I should set up those fuel rods, it's just when. Yeah, the cost is huge for these modules. They are pretty expensive, but you make the modules to module the module production to improve the production of the modules. And I'm pretty sure... Oh, they're not. They're not. Huh. That's weird. That's probably a bug because... Interesting. Interesting. So... Yeah. That's weird. Every item in the game is supposed to have a recipe for it in the white hole generator to double the item, and yet these don't have a white hole generator recipe for them. That would be a bug. Everything, even finished buildings, have white hole generator recipes. Like here, the ingot factory. The ingot factory has a white hole generator recipe where you throw 1 factory in, you get 2 factories out. The key with the white hole generator is that it uses a terawatt of power to operate, and this is a 10-second craft time. You need to pair it with a black hole generator that's taking like less expensive stuff to operate, and you need to make sure that the things that you are doubling are actually worth doubling in the end with them. So it's a little finicky. And then once we do all of that stuff and set up processing units, then we'll have utility tech cards. And then we can actually use bots for their intended purpose. The logistic bots anyway, with requester boxes. All right, all of that said and done. Let's make a factory. Well, I guess we have to get a source of rare metals, raw rare metals, of which, goodness, there's only one. Well, there's technically two, but there's only really one right here within the bounds of the base. Interesting. Very, 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 very interesting. So I'll have to split up the mining and the processing on this, and I'm going to have to do it at this ore. Well, how fitting. How fitting that it will be at ore. The problem is that I'm going to have to actually do it up here. Yeah, I'm actually going to have to go up there to this one, plastic factory, because I'm gonna need to put more requests in. I'm gonna need a chlorine, and I'm going to need a supply station. So that's the plan going forward. It's a pretty big plan. How many streams is it going to take to complete that plan? Probably 4. I don't know. Probably 3 or 4. We shall see. I'm going to try to do it as fast as I can. Quote unquote. As fast as I can. And there are things that I'm going to need to scale up as well. In the meanwhile, I'm going to need more plastic, meaning I'm going to need to scale up the petroleum gas and all of that. Get advanced oil processing. Hey, can we just oh, I don't have any on me. Dang. I was like gonna just put down a factory and say, hey, that's the recipe. I'm gonna do this off screen now. For converting to advanced oil processing. We'll do it today if we have the time. That will be how we do this. All right, this needs to be renamed to S raw rare metals. I'm going to need to increase that as well. Our chlorine at raw rare metals. Let there be chlorine. Now the next question is, do I just do all this here and provide the rare metals rather than the raw? I have enough space in here. I think we'll be fine doing that. It's not a huge factory to begin with, and I would only need to add another requester station on hydrogen. So, you know what? This will be S rare metals. This will request hydrogen at rare metals, or rare metal. Bring me the hydrogen. Alright, chlorine needs to go all the way down to the ore patch. Die. Die, stones! Oh boy. Now we need to fit 144 mining drills on this ore patch. All right, then. Time to play. How many can we stuff in game? So, funny thing. It doesn't matter about being asymmetrical when you're using boxes and loaders, because it's all going to be balanced on the output regardless. It's highly convenient doing this way. Just that I need to add a space because of power. Now, is it just me, or are those in the wrong direction? Oh, good. They both reverse when you hit R once. That's convenient. So how many we got here? 55. Oh boy. Wish I could say we were halfway there, but we're not. Oh boy, I need more boxes. I'm all out of boxes. That's what I'm doing. Frankly, I am in fact covering the entire patch. Like I have decided that we're gonna saturate the entire patch. Probably not the most efficient way at doing this, but oh well. Gotta like trim off all the excess shenaniganery here. Alright, that's pretty much that. And then over time it'll upgrade to the Mark IIs, and then I'll be like really sad when I have throughput issues. So we have 284 there up to. Then we have to power the whole thing. Oh my goodness, power. Yeah, about that, see. So we're going to take that line. I said we're going to take that line of power poles, and we're just going to line it up, paste it down. I can get rid of all those and all those. So I need more loaders, I need more boxes, and I need more mining drills. You know, just a few things. Excellent. We have done it. Now, how many did I say that this was ultimately? 284. All right. Well, I can't quite do that with actual craft time currently. No, I don't want to quit. I want to go to settings, mod settings, and I want to look at actual craft time and set that to 300 on the slider. And then Right. Yeah, so the slider doesn't update until you restart the game, by the way. So we're looking at 284. So just under 2 red belts. Just under 2 red belts. 56.8 per second. Let's go pick up the remaining infrastructure that I need to finish covering this patch. It's also going to consume an amount of chlorine that I don't really care about because I have enough. I know I have enough chlorine. I have 666 and 2/3 per second of chlorine. We have enough to cover that. I can easily double the number of mining drills. That's pretty much double. Like 8 away from double, 4 away from double. Yeah. So I could double all these numbers if I really wanted to, but I don't think I'm going to at the start. When I need more, I will make more. For now, though, I will also note, in case you hadn't noticed, radars across the base. Huzzah! They exist. They're here. We've got radar coverage. Each one uses a megawatt of power. Each one uses an entire megawatt, but they're really nice radars. They have huge coverage. And I currently have 68 that they are using the most amount of power of anything in my base right now. Of course, that's with a lot of things not operating at 100%. If everything was operating at 100%, this would not be the number one. Might be mining drills, actually, at number one. If all of them were operating all at once. Okay, I am here specifically to grab lots of thingies. I will need another... Yep, that should be good on those. Ooh, I will need more long-handed inserters. Make sure to grab that while thinking about it. Also, tech upgrades for reaching are definitely coming in handy. I like to be able to reach. Let's see, how far is my reach? Right about there. That's my current reach. That many tiles. Boing. What can I get rid of? Oh yes, and there's a few more things that I should talk about. I didn't put speed modules in any of those mining drills, did I? Oh boy, that's gonna be fun. Alright, let's clean up a little bit of the non-essentials. Like those. Why do I even have 3 offshore pumps? I don't know. I don't need electrolysis plants. So I did make a few things more on the mall area here, which, yeah, this is basically a mall. I am now making atmospheric condensers. I am now making compound material factories. This required setting up initial concrete. Just did that over here, mined a little bit of iron ore to make the concrete. Concrete is just iron and stone bricks. It's vanilla, this recipe, so figured of all things to not show, this is like the least egregious of anything, because it's so simple to make concrete, and it's really only needed for these buildings here. Needed for the compound material factory, for the crushing factory, which is not the same thing as the crusher. This is 248K's version of the crusher, and it has a very specific purpose. This is basically Pynodon's ball mill. It dusts, powderizes stuff. And then we've got the fiber maker here, and all of this is going to be involved in making the reinforced, the fiberglass reinforced plastic. Of course, I will need infinity atmospheric condensers as time goes on, and I am now making fuel refineries up here. So lots of stuff has been happening. Oh yeah, and water wells. I got my water wells on top of everything else. Gotta make sure I got those water wells getting made. They are a bit of a pain to produce. And of course I got the crystals brought in by train. Had to make sure to get the crystals in. And I guess I need infinity of those as well. Probably still don't have enough on those speed modules, considering I just practically doubled the speed modules that I need. So I'm gonna take these. Of course, I did set up the modules here, including productivity and all that good stuff. Summary says I need 48 productivity modules, so we're still good on that. Speaking of which, the most useful of the level 1 modules still remains the efficiency module. By the way, it's the efficiency module is very, very nice, even at level 1, because it really doesn't have any drawbacks on it. It just reduces your power consumption. And the cap on power consumption reduction is 80%. So when you have a module that does... Why did you go the long way? That's weird. When you have a module that's like 30% base at the level 1, with 3 of those modules, you've surpassed the cap anyway of -80. And 2 of them gets you pretty close. 60% still really good. I didn't grab any iron chests. Really? I can't... Alright then. Just don't touch a... Just don't touch a box and we'll be good. Glorious even distribution. Working wonders for me. And of course I don't have any iron plates on me. Why would I have iron plates? Why would I carry those around? Under any circumstances. Alright. Keep on going. Everything gets speed. Ta-da! Alright, well, we'll keep going here. Do I have any? Yes. Good. This is convenient. Now I could combine more, but I don't care. I don't need this many lines going in to that warehouse, but the whole point is balancing anyway. So this is a belt balancer. That is the entire purpose of this box. It is a belt balancer. However many total loaders you can put around a warehouse like this is the max size of your belt balancer, and any number in between. So since this is a 6x6 entity, this is going to serve as up to a 12 in, 12 out, or any combination thereof of 24 total loaders. You can do 1 in, 23 out, and it will evenly divide them as best it can between into that prime. I think 23 is a prime. Is 23 a prime? Sounds like a prime to me. Anyway, back I go, because I need boxes for all these. You need boxes. And I need to, you know, attach the chlorine to everything. Could use some more pipe to ground as well for all of this shenaniganery. Let us go up. I do automate the production of these boxes, so I should have a doohickey right here. 200 should be okay. Alright, we should be good. For now. Back we go. Does it really divide that way? I have seen it prefer one over another, but in a situation where you are consuming the same amount, like across the lines, even if it's not an evened output going from fewer to more, it still should work out in the end from stuff getting like overloading on the initial lines. Because yeah, I have seen that before where it just doesn't actually evenly divide. It definitely merges. It works on merging, and when you have equal numbers, the output from splitting, yeah, it can end up, I think. Did I really just miss? Yes. Still, it saves having to build the balancers, which is very nice. Belt balancers, especially as you go up to like the 1212, are freaking huge. They are big. This is the 8 balancer. I've got, yeah. So as you get higher and higher, let's look at the 1212. This is the 1212, right? This warehouse can replace the 1212 belt balancer in its entirety. This one warehouse can replace this. Can't really do the 16 or the 24, but it can definitely do the 12. Replace all of the 12s. And lower. Yeah, it's part of my global blueprints, the Bilka belt balancer books. I've got one for the size 1 through 8 and the size 12 plus. I haven't updated it in a while. There's probably been updates that fixes issues, because there's most likely issues somewhere on some of them. Again, not like I use them because of big boxes in a lot of these mods. Is that a fair spot for this? I guess? Huh. Alright, that should service that. That should service those. That to those. That to these two. Those two, those two, those two. Those two. And those. That should be all of them. It might. If you post a link, it might. I haven't even checked if, like, Streamlabs is even in the chat these days. It's supposed to be. Or it might get automatically modded by YouTube, maybe. So if you posted a link, it's not been actually posted. I don't see it on my end, on my chat, and I have live chat up. So, yeah, it probably got automatically removed instantaneously. Well, we have ores for raw rare metals. Huzzah! We've done this step exactly. We've done one step in the process. Ta-da! Let's see, I need 5 of these. Yeah, just if you want to share Factorio print stuff, you can do that on my Discord. I have an entire channel dedicated to string sharing. It's not supposed to just be for me. Anyone can share whatever blueprints they want on that channel. Just, by the way, all of my channels that I have on my Discord, you can talk in. Just FYI, anyone can discuss the topics related to any of the channels, even the ones where I've pretty much been the exclusive one posting. So if you like want to discuss Japanese language learning, you can do that on my diary channel, where I post like the quote unquote daily activities, which yeah, I get over the past months, couple months at this point. All I've really done are my Wanikani reviews. All I've really done is my Wanikani reviews for kanji studies. I effectively haven't even started my book 2 beginning Japanese at this point. Ideally they have the videos up by now for this. I got it when it was like fresh and new, and they hadn't put the like all of the online materials up yet on their website, so it's like, okay, may as well wait for that. I'm pretty sure they should have it by now, but yeah, still gotta get through this Tobira beginning Japanese book 2 before I move on to more intermediate stuff eventually, if I can get a solid enough foundation to even move on to the intermediate stuff. My goodness, it's gonna take a while. It's gonna take a while. So we've made our hydrogen chloride as well. We've made the hydrogen chloride. We've got stuff is happening. That's done. I want to make the wood, so I'm gonna copy from here. That. Paste it, but I'm gonna have to upgrade the loaders. Oh, and I have to grab the greenhouses, that's right. This is why I always carry greenhouses with me. Now, is this worth doing? I don't know. Maybe. When I could just use like 2 coal. Yeah, there is fluid sharing on these greenhouses. The difference is that these greenhouses are Krastorio buildings, and these crystal growers are 248K buildings. 2 different mod authors between these. So one decided to not have fluid sharing, one decided to have fluid sharing. Also, super happy that the Factorio developers have finally made the icon work for the buildings that actually have fluid sharing on the in and out ports. Previously, you could not tell if a port was an in-out on any modded building. They finally fixed the arrows, so you can actually tell the difference now. Okay, now to do this processing. Now, I think no matter what, you know what, I'm going to do this below. And we have this dirty water as well. This specific dirty water can be filtered for additional ore, but you end up with stone from it. I'm gonna burn it. Oh, great. There's also... You also get stone by burning dirty water. Isn't that just wonderful? I'm going to need to get some filtration plants or crushers I got rid of my crushers, didn't I? No, I have 2 crushers. 2 crushers is exactly the number of crushers that I need. Oh, and I have seen on the updates with Pyndon's mods changes for what is it? It's fluid fuel sharing on buildings that use fluid fuels. So you can actually have the buildings be adjacent to each other, and the fuel line will flow through the line. It's highly convenient. That is good change. That is good update. They finally got around to aligning all of the outputs of fluids across recipes on the glass machine. I've told them what the issue was a long time ago and exactly how to fix it. They only just now got around to actually doing it. It's like, I told you this a long time ago. So basically, the order that you define fluids in a recipe determines its position on the entity for input and output. Like, order actually matters when you are defining recipes with these fluids. There's no way to explicitly define what fluid is which fluid box on a building when you are defining a recipe. You just gotta guess and check based off of the order, and if it's not correct, you flip the order in the code of the recipe of those ingredients, and it will change the fluid box. It's like I pointed that out a long time ago, and only now have they actually fixed it. I'm going to need 3 flare stacks. Trying to decide how I actually want to do this. So flare stacks flare at a rate of 50 items per second. So if ash is a byproduct at the start and there's no way of dealing with it, here's the thing about ash. Its stack size is 1,000 units. I think you'll be okay with ash as a byproduct. I think you'll be okay if you can't immediately deal with it through filters in the beginning. I don't give a shit if it's a closed loop system. I really don't care. I'm going to void. No matter what I do, I'm going to end up with a system that is producing a byproduct that I have to void anyway. We have looked at this just a little bit ago. We literally just looked at this. Yes, you can filter the dirty water and get a few raw rare metals back out of it, but you're still gonna have to deal with the stone anyway. you're still gonna have to void the stone anyway. And since I don't need a source of water, since I don't need to have a closed water system here, I'm not going to deal with a closed water system here. And I'm completely forgetting that this actually needs an in and an out. Go there. Wonderful. There is no way around using inserters for this, or needing to use inserters for this, specifically long-headed inserters. I would like to loader out this way, which is not possible with this spacing. So, with the burning of the dirty water, we end up with the same amount of stone. We end up with 0.3 stone for 100 dirty water versus 0.3 stone for 100 dirty water without the raw metals with filtration plants, which filtration plants are much larger. These are much larger, and then we have to add additional complexity to guarantee that we are using these raw rare metals that are output from filtering the dirty water, and have to set up the actual closed loop system. It's a level of complexity that I don't feel like doing. This is simpler than that. Okay. Breathe. We have a situation where we need 1.9 on an input, and we need 2.55 on an output. Now, with a stack size of 2, can we get 2.55 with fast inserters? Pretty sure we can, but I still want to use the loaders anyway. Unfortunately, that happens. So, I will need to actually break the whole thing. Yes, I definitely void everything. I void every potential byproduct. I will utterly destroy. Even if it's a quote-unquote main product, I will still destroy it if I need the byproduct of a system. I am okay with the inefficiencies because it's simpler that way. Now, question is, can long-headed inserters with a stack size of 2 input 1.9 per second? I believe the answer is yes. I believe the answer to that is yes, absolutely. But even if not, and I will need to bring 2 lines in as well. Even if not, I could add another set on the other side, like that. So this is the easy part, really. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Break that. Don't input from a corner. $1.9 is the output, not the input. Right. I don't know why I do occasionally mix these two up. This cannot do 2.55. It should have been reversed. Should have been reversed. I didn't have to add that space at all because this is going to be input in this way. Didn't need to add that space. We don't have a problem when we do inputs. I'm not going to change it back. Whoops, and I don't need all those either. Oh boy. A few things need changing here. Okay, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. You know what would be nice is to just be able to flip them. But, oh well. So these will be able to output fully. The problem is maintaining the proper throughput. Even if I set this to be near inserters every other one, there will be an issue with the outputs. Because I'm not using loaders. Yeah, just suffice it to say there will be occasional gaps, so I'm going to preemptively add these to everything. Right. This is fine. I don't really need any of that, but whatever. Needed that one. Ah. Okay, you that way. All right then. Theoretically, that results in an even belt. Theoretically, but I'm gonna assume that even my best efforts are going to be in vain, and actually have a balancer. Oh my god, he actually built a belt balancer, a lane balancer for that matter. Because there is a difference between a belt balancer and a lane balancer. And not all belt balancers are also lane balancers. Oh boy, if you wanna talk about adding complexity to your balancers, try making a combined belt and lane balancer. Don't know why I built these so far down. Okay, now we need to add the fluid. And ta-da, we now have this stuff, which I need to cut right about there. Which I need to cut right about there because we're not done yet. Next up, we need this. I messed up the... yeah, there's that. Okay, I need to decide... well, I think the decision is actually made for me. I need to do 24. I'm not carrying around enough of these. What? Oh, hey. We got Kitty. We've got Ollie. Ollie has joined us. Hello, Ave. Welcome. Welcome to the stream. I'm about to finish up the rare metals here. I just didn't bring enough furnaces. Wow, I thought I had enough furnaces. Apparently not. We need to go back and get more. Yeah, we're just setting up our initial rare metal production. Or at the very least, enriched metal shenanigans. Yeah, see, this is working perfectly. And I hope you can tell here, you can see exactly why I've needed 2 crushers. It's because stone sucks. Stone sucks, and it makes sand that then has to be crushed to void. I mean, there's other ways to deal with sand, but... or there are recipes that can use sand. That's my stone furnaces. Like, there we are. Well, you're still talking about an extra step there for voiding. Like, yeah, we could make landfill and crush landfill, but it's still a 2-step process, right? We can't just directly void stone with 1 step. It is minimum 2 steps. Yeah, space, I guess, but it also has a water input, I think. Or is there an extra input on that? Nah, it is just the stone to landfill. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I get. Oh, and then there's dirty water to landfill. Of all things, this would actually be the easiest one because you also get the ability to get rid of landfill directly through a smaller voiding building. I think that one actually wins. Putting down a fluid handling facility, item/fluid handling facility. Yeah, that actually wins for space. Hold up. Where is it? Where is it actually? This one. Oh, but it's the wrong dirty water. Uh-huh. It's the wrong dirty water. Oh well. Because there are 2 different kinds of dirty water. That is the long storage tanks mod that has hydrogen. God, that would be so nice if it was the other dirty water. It would be so nice if it was the other type of dirty water. Can't this just get rid of stone? Hold on. Wait a minute. Yes. Yes, it can. Yes, this 248K. Let's not forget that we have 248K. The way that I was doing it was the Krastorio way of doing it, but we have 248K, so that one step voiding of stone already exists. It's just it's 248K's way. Whoops. Okay, throughput on each of these is fine. So I will just use loaders, inserters. That doesn't scale right. Oops. Gee, I hope I have enough inserters. Okay, you there, you there, you there, down, and there. So I can do a line across like this, and above the top line like so. And that is that. That is rare metals. Or rare earth metals, whatever you want to actually call them. Officially, it's just rare metal, but rare earth metals. Rare novice metals, whatever you want to actually call them. They're rare. The rarest of rare. Put down the train, set it to 2 stacks, because we're making 30, up to 30. Actually, it should be 4 stacks at 30, right? How many stacks? 1600 divided by 30. Yeah, that's only a minute, so I should have 2 stacks at least, maybe 5. There we go. S rare metal. D rare metal. We are halfway through the stream. Oh boy. Supply. Depot. Full cargo. Circuit condition. Auto magic. What is my cutoff in general for train provided versus locally produced resources? Depends entirely on the complexity of the system. There are some that are just general, like, preference, whatever I feel like doing. Like, I could just have brought in coal or wood by train, but I could make the wood local. So I just made it local. Just choice. I know that I'm going to need a very large throughput of green circuits for certain things like red circuits. So I decided, okay, I'm going to make the green circuits separate to have and train to the reds rather than make the greens at the reds and double the size of the infrastructure that I need. However, I've made green circuits local where I'm making my like 3 per second of logistic science down here. I'm making those green circuits local. I have accessible wood to make coke, because I didn't mention yet, we didn't actually look at it yet, but I do have a coke factory over here. But hey, as it turns out, I'm also making the wood local at the coke factory, which is producing not quite 30. Not quite 30. because of, you know, steel furnaces using fuel as well. I sort of, it should be working at the full 30, but, you know, inserter swing stuff not giving me the full 30. I need to replace this with loaders to actually genuinely get the full 30, because we have like 12 units sitting here and there's gaps. Yeah, that's just inefficiencies with inserter swing speed. So yeah, with rare metals done, I'm going to take a brief break, and when I come back, we're going to work on getting into the fiberglass reinforced plastic, which isn't going to take that long, frankly, because this is all going to be one factory for the moment. I will need to increase and add fiberglass as fiberglass to the production, to the factory, like as an output, because I will need fiberglass as fiberglass for buildings later, and buildings now, like nuclear assembling machines, and nuclear reactors. Yeah, that sounds fun. And module cores for upgraded modules. All level 2 modules are going to require this fiberglass reinforced plastic as well. Actually, no, these don't use fiberglass. They use fiberglass reinforced plastic. What uses regular fiberglass? It's hard to tell, but there is something in here. There is something. I think it's the science? Is it the... What is it? It's the PCBs for the next circuit beyond processing units. These need fiberglass as fiberglass. And the low density structures in the nuclear assembling machine will need fiberglass as fiberglass. So yeah, I should probably consider having fiberglass as fiberglass rather than as the plastic provided. So I'm going to take a brief break, and then we're gonna work on this. Am I on the way to the mall? Of course not. I need to get back to the mall. Now that I've done this, I need to define the rare metal source priority. So let's do that quickly. Rare metals. That's not rare metals. Rare metals. D, the rarest of rare metals. There we go. That is now officially finished, and now I can think about all of this. Note that I don't have any modules right now because I can't add productivity modules in here. They take Stokes modules, which are upgraded productivity modules that I can't make until I have fiberglass reinforced plastic. Joy. Anyway, I will be back in just a few minutes. And I returned. Welcome back. Kitty has moved. We'll see if he comes back or if Dolly decides that she wants to come and say hi. Ah. So to answer that question of providing a item through train versus producing an item locally at the individual factories, just to add a little bit to that answer, if I am currently not making something and providing it on the train network, if I need a small amount of said item, I will make that item locally. If I know that I will need a lot of said item later, I will eventually make that item in a factory provided and provide it on the train network. If the item does not have that many inputs, if it is a one-to-one input-output, I'm more likely to make the item local rather than in a separate station with a separate factory. More likely. Is it guaranteed? No. Of course not, because it all depends on the throughput of the item that I need and how big of a amount of, like, how much space dedicating production to that item is going to take. Even if it is a one-to-one, if I need like 90 per second of said item, even if it is a one-to-one, probably better to just have it on a separate factory that's scalable, and you can keep adding to it as time goes on. It's always going to be easier to separate, distribute each individual item on your train network in individual factories that can be scaled than it is to produce local. But if it's just a small amount that you need, and it's not adding too much to the train station to bring the inputs in, can just make things local, especially with like wood, which is effectively a zero input system. If I don't need too many greenhouses, I'm just going to put the greenhouses local and not bring it in by train, because greenhouses are fairly large inherently. So if I need like 30, 60, 90, 100 wood, I really should be bringing it by train. I made a slight exception here where I did put a line producing a red belt of greenhouses plus a little bit more to fuel these things, just to get the coal online without having to add the extra station. I'll need coke. I'll need more coke. When I have the need for more coke and need to add a second line, I'm going to remove this, add the input, add more output here on wood. This is 2 red belts. I need to really double that to 4, and probably double that again to 8 rather soon. Probably going to need that to do that pretty shortly. So we are over here to pick up some infrastructure. I need crushing factories. I need 30 crushing factories. I need fiber makers. I will need 60. We are 2 short. We are 2 short. All right, and then we need 6 compound material factories. We'll get the stack of that sorted. Go ahead and let's focus. Oh, really? 1 short? No, many short, but oh well. Go ahead, get your concrete. There you go. Seems I've delayed exactly as long as I needed to delay in order to actually have all of the infrastructure that I need for this. I will also need metal casters and arc furnaces. Oh boy. fortunately, I have plenty of these. Metal casters and arc furnaces. While I'm here, I'm going to pick up more infrastructure, generic logistics infrastructure. Yeah, more of those. Am I going to need a lot of pipe to grounds? Not really. So this train station is going to be bringing in 5 items. And this should be pretty quick. I need more medium electric poles. And I do need more pipe to ground. Okay, medium electric poles right up here. Hello. Stuffs. Give all. I need more pumps. All the way up top. Hello, pumps. Top off the stack. You know, just in case. I'm actually not automating my item/fluid handler buildings. I should probably do that. I'll do that off screen. Get the 248K voiding building up and running. Yeah, this guy that needs the burner generator. This is all stuff I already have between steel plates, composite circuits, pipes. Yeah, I've got all of this already. Could use more ammo, but I think I've got ammo somewhere in my train, maybe. Grab another of that, and grab a couple more of that. And I think... Am I good now? I think I'm good now. Oh yeah, I'm making the radars. Radars are here. You see, that functionality is going to come with robots. That functionality will happen once I have access to robots. Theoretically, I could do that now. Realistically speaking, if I really wanted to, I could make robots. I think as soon as I get reinforced plastic here, this stuff for the flying robot frames. No, I need to go all the way. I need to get neodymium as well as gold for the electric engine units and the for the flying robot frames. So, yeah, if I were to get logistic robots, which we could do, it's not that much longer, probably next stream, when I set up like the rich water stuff, all of this. I would need all of this right in here, these next 5 factories. I could set up the chests here, all of these chests, as provider chests across the bus. I could replace all those chests with provider chests and set actual personal logistics requests and have my robots with coverage, obviously, have my robots fill my inventory for me. It is a thing I could do pretty quickly. Sooner than getting the thingies. I'll build this up here. Sooner than getting into utility science. Tech cards. It's just that all of that would be on this bus still. I can't remove the bus until I get access to requester chests. Because even though I am able to provide and have the logistic bots bring stuff to me when I'm in the logistic zone, they are not able to build for me themselves. They're not able to handle moving of material from the train station to requester chests until I get into utility science, which sucks. They really need to adjust the timing there. It's too long. It's too long of a wait to get access to requester chests. This is an issue that I have with the vanilla game, let alone the mods. I mean, vanilla game, you are able to blitz your way into utility science fairly quickly once you have chemical science. It's just when mods are in the mix, it dramatically delays the amount of time that and extends the amount of time that it takes to get into the utility tech cards. So there really should be, it should be changed. Oh god, I don't have any of these! Great. Yeah, the base game, it's not that bad of a wait to get to need the utility science. But with mods vastly extending the amount of time, yeah, you need to have adjustment. That's a good thing with Pyandon's mods, that it actually gives you access to robots with requester chests at green science really, really, really early. And they're needed that early as well. How does one 100% Factorio? Like, get all of the techs, which is impossible because of infinite techs. I guess get everything but the infinite techs. Like, how does one define 100% in Factorio? Do all the achievements in one run? All achievements. Okay, so that must be fun doing the Lazy Bastard achievement as part of that in your run. Or can you, like, do it across multiple? That's a good question. Does it all have to be in the same map? In which case, dang. Because yeah, there's an achievement where you have to not craft a certain number of items by hand. By the time you launch a rocket, you have to like launch a rocket while having handcrafted like very few items. I have that achievement. I don't know if it's in the current thing. I don't think I have it on the current install. Huh. Yeah. So my achievements were reset at some point. It's 111 items manually crafted, but I have it on Steam. Here. Yeah. I have it. It's just, it's not in-game. Because the in-game achievements can be reset, arbitrary, like whenever you want, which is how the speedrunners do it. I assume they're going by the in-game achievement list. Here they just reset it each time they do a run. Anyway, I am back here so I can pick up my doohickeys bulk unloaders, which I should add to my hotbar so I can keep track of them, how many I have. Yeah, the ingredient limitation thing with assembling machines was dumb from its outset. They needed that was a necessary change. Where are you? Where are you? It's up this line. There you are. I need more locomotives. Oh boy. And I need to make sure that I put onto this thing. Oh boy, I'm glad I'm checking these things. I am so glad I am here checking these things right now. Because I would have had to come back. 100% I would have had to come back for those. Oh boy. That's, Ow. How much power does this thing... Oh. You take efficiency, right? Yeah. Yeah, I think cutting that by about 60% will help a bit. So, how many modules is that? A few. I need another inventory stack. One, two, 300. I didn't actually need that extra stack, but whatever. Okay, back we go. Let's hurry this up. So I need 4 solids and a fluid. All right. 2, 3, 4, and the fluid, which will be that blueprint. Do I have the thingy? No, but I can build it, because it's just pipe to grounds to make this underground storage tank. All right. So I'm not setting up beacons right now, even though I can, because I don't have access to the higher level modules to make it actually worth it. It's frankly not going to be worth it until I get, like, the top end modules. I don't really see a good reason to beacon at this point in the game. Sure, getting modules in buildings is okay, but I don't really have a good reason at this point to reduce this building count, replacing with beacon stuff that will cost resources. Like, I mean, speed would be nice. Don't get me wrong, speed would be nice, but, you know, power power consumption is definitely a thing. Definitely a thing. Right, let's start with this guy. I need 10 of you. It just fits. And 3,000. All right. So 10 will make 3,000. Hum. I need exactly 10, and I need exactly 6. Well, this is awkward. Why, hello, Ollie. Hi. Hi, baby. Big boy. That's Ollie. You're all wet. Hey. Hey. You're wet. Your paw's wet. This baby, this toy, this mousie's all wet. It's soaked. It's like, yeah. It's soaked. Yeah. What did you do, Ollie? He gave his baby some water. He gave it water. It was thirsty. The mousie was thirsty. Obviously, the mousie was thirsty. So Ollie gave it its water. And his paws are all wet. Of course, he gave his baby his water. The water. No, don't knock it down. Don't knock it to the floor. Yeah, shake, shake, shake. You shake, shake, shake. Oh boy, the eternal question. How the F am I going to do this? Hey, go. You're not gonna chase? Go chase. Ba, 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 ba. So I have to make 3 lines. I need to make 3 even lines. From 10. Time for tank shenanigans yet again. Why, yes, it is that time yet again for what I like to refer to as the tank shenanigans. Don't think I'll need Ollie. Hey, you got the baby. Yes, you got the baby, big boy. You got that baby. So every 3-ish. Can I do a 4th? Technically, unless they've royally screwed with the pipe throughput, I could get away with 4. I could definitely get away with it with a pump. So we'll will pump and have 4. You say that, he has actually fallen off before. He has fallen off the edge previously multiple times. One time on the way down, clawing my leg in the process, grabbing onto my thigh to try to stop from falling. He's done that when sleeping. So he would sleep. Sleeps next to me, and then he, while sleeping, rolls over and falls right off the edge. And it's hilarious every time it happens. It's happened like 3 times total. And he's gone. He has left. I wonder if he'll be back. Okay. 30, 10, and 10. Alright, that's good. That just means I need 2. Items, like so. 2 lines of input. Hey. 2 lines of input like so. I can just copy a pair and walk on down the line. There we go. Yeah, just that on the end. Ta-da! So we have a need for a shared line. This is why I built this way, to make it a little bit easier to do this shared line, which I have to remember where I did this last time. I know we had a shared line last time. Here. So just copy and paste. Doesn't matter which is where. And is that 30 glass? Oh god, I need to scale up my glass. I don't have an adequate amount of production to support that at the moment. I'm just gonna say fiberglass. I've got the coke and I've got the quartz in abundance. It's just, I don't have the glass production. I have glass, it's just not enough. Or it might be exactly enough, but glass is used in other locations. Which means that this last one is plastic. I also... It's the same with plastic as with glass. I am making exactly 30 plastic, but I have other things that are consuming plastic. Thus why it's not on its way yet. Okay, that is that. That is going to make my industrial glass. We need to then crush. Oh. Oh. That's unexpected, but not unwelcome. Actually, I need to move that a little bit more. Okay, we have 1 into 2. Great. That makes this simple. Ahem. For simplicity's sake, I'll do that. The issue is that then, oh god, spacing. It's going to be the same spacing regardless, I think. No, I have to rein it in by that extra tile. Like, there's no reason. Okay. Double add 1 more. Okay, that is half. I'll flip it around, do 3. That was 2, that's 3. Between, and then that is the complete build. And then I'm going to have to double this. Could I review what my output targets are for some of the other basic materials, like that 30 per second plastic? Generally speaking, I am planning around the current belt infrastructure that I have. 1 of current belt, mostly, for stuff. Like, here I have glass. Right now I have yellow belt glass. For this 1 build alone, I need red belt glass. So when I upgrade glass, when I go and I upgrade glass, I'm going to be planning it around multiple red belt of glass. I'm going to have at least 2 red belts out, double this one factory's need. So if I know that I need a belt for a factory, double that. In fact, I'm probably going to have 4 red belts of glass, ultimately. Because I'm going to need fiberglass as fiberglass for upgraded modules. Which will mean taking this factory and multiplying it by a lot. Now, this is sort of in the way. I can get away with going lower on here or going over on here, just getting different belts out. Yes, I did say 115 stone per second. You're somewhat misinterpreting. That applied to finished goods. In terms of raw resources, as much as possible. So right next to me, I have 8 yellow belts, which is 4 reds of throughput of stone, which is 120 stone. I have a separate location giving me another 90 per second on stone. On top of that, I need even more stone. As it turns out, 248K really needs a lot of stone. The 248K mod in particular, Krastorio needs a lot of stone, but so does 248K. It's rather weird on the mining of stone. It's rather weird. You need a lot of it. It does give you the ability to get stone anywhere. There is an actual stone quarry building somewhere in here. I think it's in Fission stage. One of these buildings. Yeah, so there is a stone quarry building that requires a constant supply of drills to function, it does not produce stone directly. It produces stone chunks that you then process into stone. So you take your rock fragments and you crush them into stone. And there's a more efficient recipe that does this with water and hydrofluoric acid that gives you from 4 rock fragments 20 stone, as well as a 25% chance to get all 4 of your rock fragments back. You know, that's pretty efficient for producing stone. I don't know about you. It requires drills, which is titanium, and our good friend fiberglass reinforced plastic, which we are producing now. There's also this natural fiber reinforced plastic. I do not know what that gets used for, made out of wood. No idea what that's going to get used for. What uses natural fiber reinforced plastic, and why do we have 2 different thingies for that? I don't know. I don't know. Not yet, anyway. I don't think that these buildings run. These don't run on nuclear. It's just they're unlocked at this level of tech for 248K. Just it's the category name. These run on drills. They use the level 2 one here uses a megawatt of power, which this is 80 megajoules. That's 80 seconds per drill. In terms of how long it lasts, adjusted with modules. And it produces at a crafting speed of 2. I don't know the recipe speed on this. It's 1.5 seconds per rock fragment. It shows here. Divide by 2 for the crafting speed 2. So 1 every 0.75 seconds for the rock fragments per individual rock fragment produced anywhere on your base. Doesn't need a source of stone. Again, I would only do this if you don't have the stone patches for it, and I have the stone patches. I most definitely have the stone patches, and once I have the reinforced plastic here, once I have the reinforced plastic, fiberglass reinforced plastic, I will have the ability to build Mark II mining drills. I think. Hold up, let's verify. Yes, we will have rare metals and fiberglass reinforced plastic in order to make Mark II electric mining drills. So I will absolutely be doing that to upgrade my mining capacity on stone. First thing, stone. Gee, I hope I have enough loaders. I'm holding 50 loaders. I'm gonna use inserters. I have decided inserters will be used for this. Whoops. Just draw a big line. There we go. Grab that whole thing. Isn't it nice when it's all like 1 input, 1 output? I like 1 input, 1 output. Makes for nice, reasonable builds. The problem is powering the whole thing. Excuse me. I expected you to connect. There we go. So theoretically, I only need this like every other. Why is that straight line and why is this not straight line? It is a 1 tile from you. It is a 1 tile from you. And it... Okay, that's consistent now. Thing is, I need to connect all of them together, so we'll do this here. There we go. That is fiberglass as fiberglass with efficiency modules. And there's actually plenty of room to add like speed modules and such in beacons for this. There is plenty of space, I'm pretty sure. The K1 beacon. Yeah, the K1 beacon is small. We can say that it is small. It does have a 0.5 distribution efficiency. I have noticed and noted that. Transmits up to 2 module effects from the channel it is linked to at 50% distribution efficiency. So you're effectively only getting 1 module per beacon. Woohoo! We can go 20% faster. Anyhoozle. Next up, 6. 6 of these. This is going to eat up plastic. And each one is a belt, which is just lovely. Yeah, that's a problem. Okay. I can have this spacing, I just have to put the pipes below. So that I can do tighter spacing here. There we go. Doesn't matter which is which. Let's just bring that down, bring this from here. This is plastic. Yeah, this is, again, why I'm hesitant to work with the beacons until I get access to much better modules. And by the time I have much better modules, I'll be able to add additional cores onto the channel as well. So basically, you can put a K1 core, K2 core, and K3 core all on the same channel. And depending on the beacon type you use, it could use the effects of all 3 of the cores. However, the beacon at the end is freaking ginormous. Ahem. The final beacon is a 4x4 entity. It has pretty insane coverage. It still has a distribution efficiency of 0.5, but it is going to, I think, have the effects of 6 modules, so it gets 3. The effects of 3 full modules for however many buildings you can fit around the thing. And I need to add the petroleum, of course. Whoops. Oh, right. Go this way. Yeah. Our petroleum gas at Fiberglass. Give this stuff. Now, I have the 300 petroleum gas, but we're going to be changing that to scale it even further. More, harder. More petroleum. All the petroleum. We need infinity. So I'm making 30 of this stuff. Do I even need 30 of this stuff? No. Short answer. Not really. No. But I need it to make the infrastructure to do other processes. I'm primarily doing this for infrastructure's sake. I don't remember if there are any other buildings that necessarily need this going forward. I don't think so. I still needed to make it because it is a requirement to upgrade our stuff. Even if it's not a direct requirement going into the utility tech cards. I believe it is a requirement for making the research server, though. Hold up. Research server. Do you require... Yes. It also needs the natural fiber reinforced plastic. Hey, there it is! The natural fiber reinforced plastic is used to make research servers. What else does it make? Air purifiers, which I don't need. The advanced roboport, which I will make. The solid fuel nuclear reactor variant. So I guess if I do that, I'm going to need that natural reinforced plastic, natural fiber. Biolabs, sure. So this stuff is pretty much identical to what we just built, except it's wood to natural fiber. I think it's in these factories. And because it's basically identical to what we just built, I will do that off screen rather than together. Because, yeah, natural is just the natural variant of what we just built. Yeah, it is done in the fiber maker out of wood. Like, okay, sure, I need 30 of you. It's gonna need 15 wood, 300 petroleum, and 30 plastic to make this stuff. Like, alright. I'm gonna do that off screen as I'm scaling plastic and petroleum. No, what I want to do for the rest of this stream, for the rest of the half hour that we've got here, A, is get that on the train and etc., finish the station. But B, I want to start setting up the advanced oil processing so I can finish it off screen over the weekend. Like that's the biggie, is to discuss advanced oil processing. So let's go ahead and get that sorted. Ah, you know what? I'm gonna leave it. You can fill up all of those spaces at 30 per second. Yes, yes you can. Okay, I need to actually name this as supply fiberglass reinforced plastic. Depot fiberglass reinforced plastic. I think there's a dash in there, but whatever. No, there is no dash. Okay. SD full cargo circuit ignition auto magic. Then define the item. Where is the item? It's not. Oh, it's here probably. One of these. There you are. Okay. Advanced oil refining. Brief chat. Very briefly, I know that these exist from 248K. Like step 1. We've got kerosene and light oil and water. I looked at this to make rocket fuel. It is not what I've ultimately decided to do. Even though it is a pretty decent way of getting light oil, it is pretty good on the crude to light ratio. If you have other uses of the kerosene and are willing to like have multi-output systems and make the full use of those multi-output systems, this can be relatively efficient. I'm not doing it. I'm going to do the vanilla oil processing here, and I will also note that there is a separate building with even more options, this oil processing facility from 248K that will offer even more options. You've got petroleum, acid gas, kerosene, heavy oil. You've got petroleum, acid gas, kerosene, and heavy oil, as well as acidic water, acid gas, heavy oil from crushed coal and kerosene. So you can basically convert your kerosene to more acid gas and acidic water, which is more acidic water, which is more sulfuric acid. So this is like the sulfuric acid method. I'm going to want to do this. I'm going to want to do this like hugely. I absolutely want this. Now the thing here, you're going to end up with petroleum gas and heavy oil that you can use to make other stuff or just void it. We also got the sulfur-driven oil processing from petroleum to give you petroleum, acid gas, kerosene, and heavy oil in a different way, slightly different way with sulfur. And then you also have a desulfurized kerosene with acid gas and acid water versus the heavy oil variant. See, the heavy oil variant uses crushed coal to convert 200 kerosene into 110 acid and 70 versus 150. So you get more acid water and acid gas per unit kerosene by adding crushed coal, but you get heavy oil versus desulfurized kerosene. Just interesting things to note there. There's some shenaniganery that we could do with that. For now, though, the idea with this process, I'm going to need light oil for rocket fuel, so duh. Thing about that though, flare stacks are a thing. So flare stacks exist. Don't know if you've noticed, flare stacks exist. We have to make our own valves if we want valves, and I've actually made a valve. This is a valve. This is a valve. if the tank exceeds a threshold value, it will flare the excess. It will flare the excess. So there's a valve, basic valve to flare the excess. However, what I need right now is more petroleum. So to compare the basic petroleum recipe gives you 45 per 100. Okay, 45 per 100. The advanced oil processing recipe will give you 55 per 100 baseline, and you can convert all of the heavy and light oil into petroleum. So that's what I'm going to do. The only slight issue is that you have to make sure that you're going to that you preferentially pull out like first the petroleum that you are cracking, the cracked petroleum, to keep it moving. Theoretically, it should always be moving, but whatever. Do I have... Of course not. Of course I'm not carrying around my chem plants. Speaking of which, now that I have the reinforced plastics, I should be able to make the advanced science lab and the advanced mining drills. Like, doing what we just did gives us mining drill 2s. It gives us like a whole bunch of upgraded infrastructure, like level 2 infrastructure that I will absolutely make off screen. Thinking, processing. Where's this lab? I thought I unlocked it. There's the chem plant. Do I not? Do I not? I probably not. So there will be an advanced tech lab. It's just I don't have it until advanced tech cards. Oh. That's going to be a while. So for now, we have to work with regular chem labs. Boom. I keep breaking the same two. So point being, because flare stacks exist, I don't actually have to do the whole vanilla rigmarole of actually using all of the heavy, light, and petroleum gas at any given time, because the vanilla game does not have access to flare stacks. And it's very specifically balanced around not having flare stacks. So we can throw all that semblance of balance out the window now that we have access to the ability to void our excess amounts of heavy and light oil and petroleum gas. So if I just want heavy oil, I can make just heavy oil and void the light and petroleum, as evil as that sounds. Yeah, that's exactly what I will do. I see no reason not to do that in that specific way. I will need heavy oil for lubricant. And only for lubricant. For belts and electric engine units. It is the only use that I have for heavy oil. And we can get heavy oil from alternate processes besides the advanced oil processing. So ultimately, heavy oil is almost exclusively going to be cracked. The amount that doesn't need to make lubricant, that I don't need to make lubricant, which I can just have whichever process gives me the most heavy oil per unit of crude will be the process that I use to get heavy oil. So I see that this process here is 180 to 95. This is likely what I will use for heavy oil for lube. And then this process also gives kerosene, which can be converted into even more heavy oil. And it's giving a whole bunch of acid gas that I can just use for sulfuric acid as well, if I wanted to use it. But I could void all of the excess if I so desired. So realistically speaking, these processes for the lube from heavy oil and then standard advanced oil processing for all of the petroleum I need on the planet. And I think the same applies for the light oil. I have to actually look and see what process gives me the most light oil, because I didn't actually check that. The coal liquefaction actually gives me the most, but I don't have that tech right now. And it requires light oil to start with. It's like light oil into more light oil from coke rather than from oil. There is the cracking, and there is just this kerosene, which is 160 to 90. It is a better ratio. It's actually a better ratio. Why did I not include... Hold on. Hold on. Because I have the cracking here, so... Get out of the car. 705.9, right? 705.9 and 132.4. 705.9 through the basic processing. Or into 450, excuse me. 450 ultimately. From 705. Or 800 into 450. So as it turns out, cracking heavy oil is still the better option when doing advanced oil processing. As it turns out, you do get the most light oil out of cracking your heavy oil into light. This is better. The real question is this better? Is doing this two-step process. Helmod's matrix solver doesn't seem to think so. So the matrix solver doesn't think so. But 705.9, 838.9. Yeah. Yeah. So, still not good. Not good enough. Not good enough. And it's, you know, using a whole bunch of coal on top of that. So, while good for lube from heavy oil output and for making sulfuric acid, ideally, not so great at light. Not so great at light oil. So, all that being said, I'm going to do something completely different, which is I'm going to go and I'm going to grab chem plants from right here. I don't need any oil refineries, actually. I just need a bunch of chem plants. Because now, on a new factory... Actually, do I even need the new factory? I don't think so, no. Because I have this. This is the advanced oil refining. I need this. That's all the cracking, right? Yeah. Yeah. So now without productivity, which I am tempted a little bit because, you know, the concept of 1,000 into 1,000 is quite tempting. Although I need to like look for what's the best spot for that. Because while yes, I could do that there, you know, this might be the best. This is probably the best here. 21 megawatts, 1,000 petroleum from less than 1,000 crude oil. Now, could I maximize that where I get the most petroleum per crude oil? Yeah, technically. Technically, I could do that, but I'm not gonna. And then I have to compare this to the basic. So if I wanted just 1,000 through the basic recipe, that would be a lot more, right? That would be a ton more crude oil. Do I have that crude oil? Yes. Is it particularly efficient? No. No. Now, it could be like quote-unquote efficient on power. Yeah, it could be more efficient on power, but nah. Hey, thank you so much for your boastful membership. Let's see, is that a renewal that just went through? I know you've been at that level. Yeah, renewal after not being for a little bit. There we go. Thank you so much for coming back as a boastful member. You've got your high-tech icon. Yeah, you got your high-tech icon now. Huzzah. For those who don't know, if you are a member of the channel for certain lengths of time, you get little badges next to your name, and those badges are the Planetons robots. And over time, you get a more advanced version of the robots. It starts with the construction and the logistic robots, and then it goes up from the Mark 1s to the Mark 2s, and then the Mark 2s to the high techs eventually. So we've got some high tech bot folks here now. Don't think we have any high tech construction bots yet, though. That I think is 2 years. I think that's 2 years. Or is it 1 year? I forget. I have to look. I have to check these things. Hey. Membership. Badges. Is there a... Yes. It is 24 months. Oh god, there's a 36 and a 48 now? I didn't even know that there's a 36 and a 48 now. So yeah, fresh members are the Mark 1 logistic bot. 1 month members are the Mark 1 construction bot. At 2 months, you go to the Mark 2 logistic bot. At 6 months, it's the Mark 2 construction bot. At 12 months of membership, it is the high-tech logistics bot. And at 2 years, 24 months, it is the high-tech construction bot. We need more bots in Planetons mods, so I can do a 36 and a 48. We need some more bots. We need some more bots, although I don't think anyone has hit 24 yet. Interesting stuff. I did not know they added more time periods. Did not know. I guess it may have added it when my channel hit that length of time that it's been partnered on YouTube. Quote unquote partnered, but whatever. Oh boy. So, the plan. Of course, I want to do this. Put a pin in it. How much stuff do I need? A bit. I'm carrying a few. Do I need more? Interesting. 52. I am going to grab a couple more oil refineries. Just in case. So we're going to go here. Yeah, I thought so. I needed to add at least 4 more. Oh, that means I need a... We need to multiply this by 2. Oh, boy. Yeah, we need to double these numbers. So, summary. 57. That should be enough. Now, I also need more piped grounds for all of the chemical plants. Regular pipe, I think, as well. So I will grab 2 stacks of those and fill the rest of my inventory with those. Okay, and then I have to think about how I want to design this, because as I mentioned, if I do this in this way, I would somehow have to prioritize using the cracked petroleum over the direct petroleum. Or is it the other way around? I forget. Like, I need priority usage of, I think it's the actual direct made petroleum in this system, so that if we pull out petroleum on a train, if it's getting loaded onto a train, we have to make sure that we're using everything. Like, I don't want this to be empty and then these full. It might not matter though. I don't know. I'm just thinking potential points of failure. There could be something in here that makes it die on me. Oh god, I completely forgot. I do need to add more pipes to this system. The entire system. Yeah, I need water across the board as I upgrade to the advanced oil processing setup. Oh boy, that needs to change. The one good thing that came out of the change to this basic only producing petroleum is that they did make it so that you only have the input and output on the correct locations. That was a necessary change, but like getting rid of having the crude oil input on both ports, that needed to happen. I still think they should have kept heavy, light, and petroleum at basic. Really think that should have stayed. But anyway, is what is for now, and in future. It is what it is. Because the biggest mistake people would make is, like, even experienced people would make the mistake of having your crude oil input on the port that ended up being water when you upgraded to advanced. When they added the ability to flush the fluid system, that was not a particularly bad mistake, because you could just hit the button and flush the fluid system to make that change. But there was a time where this button didn't exist, and it was really, 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 really difficult to clean out your pipes. You would have to basically deconstruct the entire pipeline and replace it with fresh pipe if you had the wrong fluid in the wrong pipe. Okay, water. As I said, it's nice to have a button to push that lets you flush out the system when you make a mistake. Okay. Processing. Now I change the recipe. And that has changed the recipe on all the things. Huzzah! So now we are producing petroleum as well as heavy and light oil. We are producing more petroleum than we were before, quite considerably. And, of course, I will need to add these modules. I didn't end up bringing any of my productivity modules with me, which sucks. So we'll do that later. I'll do that off screen. Adjust, tack on the extra 4 that I need up here on these as well, due to the speed loss on the productivity module that I'm adding to this, to make it so that it's less than 1,000 units into 1,000 ultimately of petroleum gas. Now what I want to set up here is the cracking arrays, or at least the start of the cracking arrays. It's pretty simple, really. And I think I'm not going to worry at all about, like, prioritizing the things. Excuse me. Oh yeah, that's right. You go there. You go out and this way and there. You... Oh, right. Get thee there. And get that there. Okay. Whole thing. Go up a little bit. This repeats 13. There you go. 13 of you, and then 44 of the other. That's quite a few. Quite a few indeed. Taking in a bunch of crude, a bunch of light oil. Just for simplicity's sake, because this would end up being longer than the actual array, I'm going to do this, and I have to double it. I do still need to double it, and I need more pipe, apparently. Because this is the not doubled variant. I'm not doubling because of throughput, which actually means I should just put these further, not there, further away, and process them separately. So this section is for the bottom array, and then copy, paste. That section on the bottom array. There we go. Something tells me that this would be the first place that you see me do nuclear setups for massive power requirements needed. Quite possibly. I will be doing nuclear. I mean, I'll have to do nuclear. Like, there's no option. There's no other option. If I want to upgrade my ability to build stuff, I will want to use the nuclear assemblers. And nuclear assemblers requires some nuclear stuff. Requires nuclear fuels. Now, in regards to making power out of nuclear power, yeah, maybe I'll have to look at the actual power, like, production stuff. So that's basically it. I mean, I have to incorporate the lines for petroleum, but yeah, just turn it on, and voila, there's your advanced oil processing, making up to 2,000 units per second of petroleum gas. Will I need more than 2,000 units of petroleum gas? You can bet that absolutely I will need more than that, because frankly, I'm going to be needing how much plastic? How much plastic did we have we determined thus far? I'm gonna need 60 alone between the fiberglass reinforced plastic and the natural fiber reinforced plastic, plus the amount to make a few more red level circuits, more than 15. I'm gonna need to double that, which means I'm gonna need to double my electronic components. So that's another 30. So I'm thinking 4 yellow belts of plastic. That's gonna equal that times 4. That's gonna need 1,200 petroleum gas by itself. All on its own for just the plastic. So if you thought that making 2,000 was overkill, not necessarily. For now, it is, especially when I'm going to plan on making sulfuric acid differently. Different from this recipe. In fact, I want to, before I end, I want to finish with the sulfuric acid from the acid gas and the acid water. So matrix solve 1000 units. That's actually not that much acid gas. Oh boy. So what were the actual thingies I was going to use for this? It was a mix between that and the kerosene. So in this process, without any productivity involved at this point, it is practically a 1-to-1 ratio. It is practically a 1-to-1 before getting the Stokes modules, which I'm absolutely going to try to get into the Stokes module ones here. I have them unlocked. I have the ability now, I think. Not quite. I need these low density structures. I would like to build the factory for low density structures. This is all stuff I have. I really would like to set these up, but I can hold off until we set up low density structures. It's fine, whatever. These things are just glorified productivity modules. That's all they really are. It gives 6% at level 1. Can't make the level 2s until we get processing units, but once we get the processing units, then we can make the level 2s. Then there's level 3s after that later, which level 2s give 10% productivity, then 12. It's not a big difference. Frankly, 2% like that is not enough of a difference with those extra huge drawback penalties. That 2% is not worth the drawbacks. Gauss modules, though, oh boy. Oh boy. You need the 3s. You need the 3s to make the Gauss modules. And then each Gauss module after that is needed for the next level of Gauss module. So you need to like go productivity into Stokes into Gauss. Anyway, that is what I want to do off screen. And of course I will use efficiency modules for now. Just bear in mind, all these things that don't take regular productivity modules absolutely take these Gauss modules that, 75% productivity on this. Oh, wait, 100% productivity on this once we get the advanced chemical plants, doubling our outputs across the board. Vastly increasing the power draw, but whatever, doesn't matter. I don't need 4 of those, I only need 3. And 3 is honestly too much. So, yeah, just 12 megawatts, roughly 1,000 crude into 1,000 sulfuric with desulfurized kerosene, heavy oil, and petroleum as extra outputs on here. In fact, this process gives me petroleum. We can use that petroleum to make additional sulfuric acid. And it is a better than 2-to-1 ratio on this in the end. And we still end up with more petroleum than we need. Oh, and that's not right because of water input. That's better. So 794.2 petroleum. We're now using all of the petroleum and all of the acid gas. We're only ending up with heavy oil and desulfurized kerosene. It's almost as if this was designed to behave in this way. It's almost as if this was designed around the concept of these recipes working together to produce specifically sulfuric acid. It's almost as if it was designed that way. To be perfect on the use of your petroleum and the acid gas and the kerosene from this recipe. All 3 of these ingredients all three of these outputs, actually, not ingredients, all three of these outputs combine perfectly to make sulfuric acid without being short on any one or overproducing on any one. The only things here that are excess is this heavy oil. Maybe there's something that we could do with the heavy oil to add to the thing at some point. Maybe. Maybe we could do coal liquefaction eventually and then convert all of that heavy oil into more sulfuric acid. That's a thing that you could do, and then all, because you can convert the heavy, the light, and the light into petroleum, and then all of the petroleum into sulfuric acid. So you can take the heavy oil output from this with coal to make even more sulfuric acid. But this is like multiplication of heavy oil, not really a thing that we would do off of this process in general. Oh, and you could get the coal from the heavy oil. Oh, well, wouldn't you know? Wouldn't you know, you could get the coal from the heavy oil. And then you could use the coal and heavy oil to make more heavy oil with coal and add the output from this and convert all of the light and petroleum into more sulfuric acid. And then there's your heavy oil taken into account. And the only thing left is the desulfurized kerosene. That's the only, at that point, real output that's excess here. With that, though, I will be doing this off screen. I will be making oil processing facilities and a whole bunch of infrastructure that actually uses the rare metals and reinforced plastics that we've made today. I'll be making a whole bunch of infrastructure off screen at the mall, main bus area. I'll be doing this process because we've already made sulfuric acid. Even though this is a different process, I need to build these buildings, and we have so much to do to get to utility tech cards. I'm going to do this off screen because we've already made sulfuric acid. And it's not a thing I want to spend a lot of time, stream time, making this specific item. Even if it is a different process, we've now discussed it. This is the build. It's not too drastically different from the things that we've been doing thus far. So yeah, then we can focus on other stuff and not have to worry about adding this base material, which it's like, oh hey, right here, I'm using 500 of it just immediately. This is 1,000. Like, next stream, I'm going to be using at least half of that. Next stream is half of that, right? Because next stream, we're doing lithium, hydrofluoric, and rich water. We're going to be going into rich water next stream. Ideally, also setting up like the gold, neodymium, and titanium, because they're all the same. If we have time, rocket fuel. I might have to sneak in LDS. I'll have to sneak in LDS at some point. But yeah, gonna do this natural fiber off screen, more plastic off screen, and this sulfuric acid off screen. Those are like the three big factories that I'll work on before going into Tuesday, and working on scaling the stuff that we have with the new infrastructure that I have access to now that I have this stuff and this stuff. Okay, that's, we all on the same page? Hope so. With that, I would like to thank you all for watching. This has been Otaku Show, but if you have enjoyed today's stream, please be sure to do all of the social and engagement stuff down below the video. Leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe if you've not yet subscribed, and consider becoming a member of the channel by hitting the great big blue join button if you are so inclined and able. You can also support me on Patreon at patreon.com/otakushowit if you are so inclined. I will be back on Tuesday, where we will move on into getting like gold, neodymium, titanium, etc. I'm going to go officially and move that ahead of rocket fuel. I hope to see you all then.